I can see up your shirt right here.
Oh, are we going there?
Yeah.
You
gonna show me
there.
a little? You need a little camisole?
I feel so violated. Jeez.
Oh, make sure you're buttoned up.
Okay. Thank you. Well, welcome to session 3. Session 3. Wow, it didn't seem like we're in session 3 already, but I guess that's exciting. And
Move it along.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you to everyone again. We want to start out everyone by telling you thank you for tuning in. There was even more people on session 2, so that was kind of a very comforting thing to know that people
are listening. We're
not boring.
Yeah, we're actually getting numbers. It's good. People actually magnet attractive.
Absolutely.
We have something good to say.
Yeah, thank you guys. So, like we talked about before, and we've mentioned, and we will keep reiterating. So we wanted to tell you our backstory, and in some sessions we're probably going to work a little longer on certain things like marketing, branding. Today we want to talk about last time we left off we were at the
how we bought our first investment property.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we've also had a lot of people interested in hearing about the short-term rental process. So we figured if we're going to be talking about buying our first investment property of now 7, why not touch and dive a little deeper into the short-term process? And then so the people listening, if they've been thinking about it, can kind of know
buying a second home, vacation property, residual income.
Absolutely.
All those wonderful things that come with it. So when we purchased our first property, we had no intentions of going into an income producing property. It was just, we were
at the point, and the wife gets what she wants first all the time. And
no.
I wanted a land and ranch property, and Melinda, you were like, no, I want a beach property. That's a happy place. And
we were financially at the point where we could buy a second property or a second home, and it made sense for us we were like, what if we bought? I'm a beach girl, and I was like, well, what if we bought something and it's our vacation home, but we made money to pay for it?
And at the time too, it was like have a place to go for us and the kids.
Well, and then we talked about how much we pay. So we were like, okay, if we were a family of 4 and we went down to the coast, or we invited our friends, like how much does that cost nightly?
We were spending. I think remember one.
Well, this was. You're talking about 15 years ago.
Yeah, one time we went, we actually spent, it was like $2,500 for 4 days. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about there, because we were like, wow. So we would have to intentionally invite other couples to go with us.
Yeah.
And then just split the difference, right? It was.
Are you saying you used our friends? I'm going to share that with them.
I know they're listening, so don't listen to her. Don't listen to her.
I love the coast. Of course, I'm not going to down the Texas coast. I could prefer a different coastline or beach, but I love the beach. And it was not Jason's favorite spot. He actually, the Gulf Coast and the sticky air and stuff, we have a big joke as him walking on the beach with me and taking long walks on the beach.
There was nothing appealing about that. I think you were the only thing appealing about a long walk. When she, let me rewind. When my wife says she wants to take a walk. When we first got together, she wanted to go on a hike. Well, it was an 8.5-mile hike, and I smoked at the time. But I think I stopped a couple of times to smoke a cigarette.
If any of y'all know, I used to be I ran marathons for a while, but now I don't run anymore. But I do like long walks. So my walk is about 5 miles.
She goes, it'll be so romantic to walk on the beach. I'm like, well, is it your walk? Right? I say, is it your walk or just like a short little?
I have to do like a children's little short walk with you and like a little
longer.
Yeah.
Over the last 6-7 years,
we knew we were going to do a coastal property, and probably the biggest thing, and we knew at that point you had already consulted with our financial consultant or got advice from our financial consultant that we were ready to make this next step. And the biggest thing is, here we are, we brought our credit score up. We've saved for this down payment, and we're ready to invest in a second property. And the biggest part was now we got pre-approved for a large amount.
Let me talk about that for a second.
Yes,
so
dive.
Pre-approval. So on a pre-approval for those, because we want to bring like an educational aspect to this as well. In Texas, which we didn't know, we learned on your investment property, on your second or your if it's an investment property or a second property that's not your homestead in Texas, you're going to be required to put about 20% down. We weren't prepared for that. We had the capital, but we weren't prepared. We thought, 5-10%. But it's going to be about 20% on an investment property in the state of Texas. Other states might vary that are listening, so we can always find that out.
Sometimes there's creative lending with P&L though now.
There are some creative aspects to the lending on that, but we put it was going to be 20% down, so that was a huge.
So we got pre-approved, and we always loved Port Aransas. That's where we vacationed. If you know that area, it's like 11th Street or 10th Street, the golf cart area. And Jason you were so adamant. You were like, no, we're going to get the 3-tier, 3 bedrooms with, multi-living. And so we have multiple families. Our friends can come.
Because that's what you did, right? I mean, because we had been purchasing, and then, like I said, again, we didn't get this from an investment aspect to start out with. We wanted to have the spot, right? That all our friends and our family came, and that's what you did, right? You just got this big wow factor one, and that's what we started looking at. And
this is where the argument came.
We did argue. We argued a lot.
Oh my goodness, we argued. So he was adamant. You were so adamant about buying something. He was topping that approval, and it scared me to death. And I kept saying, why does it have to be so much? Why can't it be something different? So we made several trips. We stayed, in
different condos.
The
3-bedroom, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom.
And explored what we wanted to buy. And of course, now this is before COVID and all that. So the market was a little bit different. And we kept coming back again. So you kept pushing us to the top, and I kept pushing us down. And then you talked to our financial advisor, and what did he say?
Yeah, well, it created, back to what you were saying, because you're not getting out of it that easy.
I always get what I want, but it's okay.
You do. Yeah, condo's a perfect example. But, I knew what I wanted. She knew what she wanted. And it created a lot of friction. So the couples that are out there looking for an investment property, it's going to require, trust me, we're on our 7th or 8th one now. It's going to require giving a little on both sides. So word to the wise, fellas, give a little, okay? Because if you do, she will too. And you'll find that comfortable median. So
it also goes back to Jason wanted land, and I do too. Like, our end game is to buy a larger chunk of land, but it didn't make residual income. So I'm like, I couldn't justify buying a piece of property. Which we had land, but
again, we weren't buying it at the time from an investment standpoint. Now, to answer your question, you said when we were talking about pricing and how we wanted to acquire, right, from an acquisition standpoint, how we wanted to acquire the second home, we now knew we were going to be paying the 20%, which was like, ooh. So if you're looking at a $400,000 home, you're $80,000 down, right?
Yeah.
So I went and talked to a financial advisor. Yeah, I get short of breath just thinking about it. But and I'll never forget it's the best advice I got, and I pay it forward to every single one of our vacation home buyers, our short-term rental purchasers, our 1031 exchange clients. I tell them, I say, if you haven't done it, it's your first time, and this is the advice I got, go with the lowest acquisition point you possibly can. And it makes perfect sense, right? Why dump everything you have into something when you've never done it?
Yeah.
And that was some of the best advice I got from an investment property standpoint. And then that's what turned everything at that point into, okay, wait, this is a business.
That started our ball.
Yeah, this can be a business
was like,
now.
Okay, here we go.
So then we changed our whole path, and we were a little bit more on board. She was happy with the lower price. I was happy with the business aspect of it, because we were going to have a property that we could not only enjoy and reserve for our family, but then have it pay for itself when we're not there, right? So in regards to the low acquisition, like I said, best advice we could have gotten from people we respect in the industry that have been doing it for years. And so buy low.
So yeah,
Buy low as possible. Decent though. Look at, and we're going to dive into some other things that go into what you need to look for. But from a low acquisition standpoint, what that does basically, it creates a liquidable asset for you. So let's say we buy low and we turned out a year later, we're like, well, this is not for us. They used the term dump.
Yeah.
We had a liquidable asset we could dump, not lose any money on, and potentially make a profit. So word to the wise, start low as possible.
Yeah, and you can't have it.
Don't bet the farm.
So you can't have that second home and use it as your investment property, have your second home, and it's a win-win. So you can get both, because we absolutely enjoy our condo. I'll never forget the time. So we finally, after all the fighting, the mini trips, he calls me. I'm teaching during the day, and he texts me and he says, "Hey, we're going to jump in the car on Friday afternoon and we're going to drive to the coast. I have a place for you." So let's talk about how we found Palm Bay.
This was in this is in February of 2019, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I was so excited.
She was pumped. She's like, "Are we there yet?"
We looked at the pictures, and
so when we get closer, it's about a 2 hour and 45-minute drive from New Braunfels to North Padre Island. We actually started looking in Port Aransas. The prices were really high. We weren't finding what we wanted to from an investment standpoint, right? We wanted to acquire low. So we looked at the area, and we had some friends that actually owned on North Padre, and they said, "Well, go check out North Padre Island." And we fell in love with it.
Now, if y'all don't know the difference, if you go over the causeway, that's North Padre. And if you take the ferry, that's Port Aransas.
Yeah, and North Padre actually, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, but White Cat Beach is a whole hell of a lot more prettier than.
Yeah, and you can go down, you can see the sea turtles hatch. They have hatchlings.
National Seashore there
too.
So we were on our way. It was about 2 hour and 45-minute drive. About 2 hours into that drive, we get a call from the person we were going to see the condo from. She's like, "Oh, they're elderly, they're sick, you can't see it." We're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, we're bummed.
Yeah,
we have the kids in the car,
and
we'd already shown them the splash pad and the pool and the grotto.
Yeah, and the grotto. But and so we're like, "Well, we're going." She's like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "We're going to go there, and we're going to either find something, or we're going to just spend the weekend at the coast."
I don't go in that direction, and my feet do not hit the sand. No matter what I'm doing, I don't care how cold it is. I'm going to walk the beach.
Right. So we get there and we go by the condo, and we're like peeking in the windows. These people are in there sick. They probably thought we were psycho. But we called again and said, "Is there any way we can see it?" And she's like, "They're sick. I'm just sorry you can't." And we were kind of heartbroken. But everything happens on God's time.
Oh, yeah. We're walking around the complex.
Yes, we're walking around looking. And right as we're about to give up and we walk around the corner, there's a lady at the corner condo putting in the window a for sale sign.
And she's an agent.
She's an agent. And we asked her, "Is this for sale?" She's, "Yeah." I said, "Can we see it?" She said, "Yeah." And we bought it that day.
Yeah, bought it that day.
It was meant to be.
First, we said, we were looking at it as a second home that we can vacation. It wasn't really a place where we were thinking like, "Oh, this could be like residual income investment property for future retirement." We weren't even in that mindset.
In that frame of mind at this point, after we talked about the low acquisition and everything, we got to. So
it evolved.
We didn't know what to expect, though.
No, and we didn't know what had occurred. So now we know. There's a lot of things.
You get addicted to it, though. So for those listening, or even the ones we've helped, I've already had some of you come back, and y'all are on your second and third one, so you don't know what I'm talking about.
So you definitely need an agent to guide you through this.
Someone that has been through it personally too.
Yeah, because there is a lot of things. There's property management.
Assessments.
There's assessments. A lot of people don't know what assessments are, so we can get into that on one-on-one basis. There's the HOA. And then if you're a coastal property, regardless if it's your personal home or not, a lot of people don't know that TWIA is your wind insurance,
Texas wind insurance,
FEMA flood insurance. So there's a lot of things. A lot of insurance companies don't brokerage or insure the coastal properties.
Is it a first floor, second floor condo?
Yeah,
is it or home or townhome, whatever it may be? Another thing is, you have to. I mean, of course, you're going to do your research, but that's what we do for our clients. Is it short-term rental? Some have a week minimum, some have 30-day minimum, and those aren't really good money makers on the 30-day unless you have someone that random person is willing to pay, $3,000 for.
And then probably the biggest thing that we help people with is the lending side of it. So there's something called a warrantable and non-warrantable.
That's
where
huge. That's a big time waster if you don't have the right people guiding you, right?
Yeah.
Because most financing, and this is like that second home, that quote unquote investment property in the state. There's a lot of lending requirements that go in with that, and over the period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties, we've kind of been through it. So
yeah. and if you have great agents that help you and guide you, then it's an easy process. But you don't want to get excited about something and then, you go through red tape and then you can't get it. So.
Yeah, and then also, something to think about. And Mel, I know that we got kind of lucky with the property management we chose. We won't name them, but, they do all of ours. We picked an international firm because we're eventually going to buy a place like maybe Florida or Montana or something. We wanted a company that could help us out with everything. So picking the right property management company is also a massively important
thing. And we've been very happy with them.
Yeah, they do your check-ins, your checkouts, your bookings, your review requests. I mean, their maintenance. When we live 3 hours away, there's a lot, right?
Yeah. So let's go back in because we're going to piggyback from our last session, and we talked about like branding and marketing. And you love creating logos. So one of the things that we did is, as we went into the second property, is we wanted to make it our home away from home. Even though I love sea turtles, and if you ever get a chance to go in that area as the National Seashore, you can actually see the sea turtle hatchlings. And you can be a part of that experience. And it's just truly unbelievable. There's also, I did a lot of training in it and took a lot of classes, but it's called cold stunning. And it's the sea turtles. When we have these huge cold fronts, the sea turtles get caught in the back bay, and they get stunned. And so there's a lot of rescue. Yeah. So of course, then we go into the logo, and Jason created a branding logo for me.
Yeah. Well, I told her, I said, this is your place. This is what you want to do. And my wife, she majored in fine art photography, or bachelor and minored. Is he a minor?
It's okay. It's okay.
I didn't go to college, so.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Anyway, yes.
Okay.
Yes. One of all the degrees that I have was photography.
You were like Pauly Shore, our son-in-law. When he was like majored in karate, 8th semester.
And I'd probably still be in school. And that could be a whole other session.
No,
I wanted to get my PhD.
Why were there? Rabbit hole alert, right? So we got together. She was like, yeah, I've been in school for some time. I'm like, how long? So fast forward now, you were in school for 12 years. Yeah. College, not school. College. So you did the equivalent of K through 12 in college.
And I would continue.
Holy crap, Melinda.
Yeah, and I would continue because I would have gotten my PhD if I wouldn't have jumped into real estate. So Michelle Schwant, I have a connection with you. I just love learning.
Didn't they make you graduate? They said we can't. No.
Oh, undergrad, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I was really bummed because I wanted to take a forensics photography class, which I couldn't take.
You love school that much.
I do. Well, you love logos and branding, so it's okay. So marketing's yours.
So it was your place, and so we the sea turtles. So we came up with the sea turtle logo, and we called it. And then my wife loved to do photography, so we wanted a place she could hang her photography and kind of display it. So we called it Mel's Moments, and that's where that was born. And
and now it's evolved into multiple properties. And I think my thing is not only when I go to my property, it's a home away from home, but when other people vacation there, I want them to have that same experience. I want them to have that same feeling when they walk in, that they're like, they feel valued of what they're spending their vacation on. And going to the low acquisition, just really, really quickly, it was important for me too. I grew up with a single mom, and the affordability to go on vacation and to stay places, it wasn't there. I mean, it was very limited at times. And so what is very important to Jason and I is these are properties, they are low acquisition. And yes, they are an investment for us for future retirement. But it's also a place that someone could pop away for a couple of nights, and you're not spending, it's not a fortune you're not, it's not, a grand to stay, I don't even know what some of our nightly rentals are, but you're talking about like $150 to $200 a night, and sometimes even less, depending on the season.
In the holidays or whatnot.
But it's affordable. It's affordable for a family to go vacation
And we love reading the reviews. That's one of
I love
both our
the
favorite
review
things.
book.
As soon as we get to our condo after 3-4 months, we love going to the review
Yeah,
book
we sit down and
talk about what they did and how much they appreciated. You see people that were there spreading ashes on the beach for their family. You see people that were there on their first year anniversary.
yeah.
Their kid graduated. I mean, it's cool. It's like, man, they share that with our
from
place.
all over, from different countries,
yes.
from all over the United States. They'll even tag us on Facebook or share their experience. Yeah. Maybe they're reuniting. They haven't seen one of the, and I share that place a lot with my mom and my sister. We love, meeting at the condo and going to visit on the beach and our favorite places. So of course mine's walking on the beach.
Well, that was my next question. What is your favorite? What's your favorite thing about owning a short-term rental in the area that you own a short-term rental?
So I love Joe's coffee shop. That is my thing. That's my jive. So every morning I wake up early. I kind of sneak out. So if I go down there a lot by myself. It's kind of like just a reset for myself. But if I go down there with the family, regardless, I get up really early before sunrise. I go through Joe's Coffee. They usually open about 6:30. I get me a cup of coffee or a hot tea now.
I think it's Island Coffee, right?
Is it Island Coffee Joe's or Joe's Island? I see
it on our register reports all the time.
Yeah, Joe's Island. And so most of the time Piper's with me. And we walk the beach. We pick up seashells and trash. It depends on my moment. I take pictures. You probably see lots of videos. But I am just at peace and just the endless ocean. I just love it.
How the hell am I supposed to follow that with what I like? Because it's going to sound so selfish. I mean, I like.
Well, mine's pretty. I mean, mine's for me. It's for nobody else.
You made it sound so elegant. I'm just there for.
Sometimes I practice yoga on the beach.
The happy hour. I mean, I'm sad that Scuttlebutt's closed, but the happy hour was from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and they had half price peel and eat shrimp. And man, you'd be on the beach all day and you go to Scuttlebutt's to peel and eat shrimp and just be like, keep them coming. That was awesome. It was like you felt.
But they reopened and you got to kind of redeem your.
Yeah, we never did the hot wing challenge there. My sons and I were going to do that. But those are the special things about, owning a short-term rental.
We're going to have to say one more thing. So we have to share our annual tradition on the beach. That is probably our favorite.
Yes. So every year, being in real estate, you get that last week of the year. Everybody knows from the 24th of December to around the 29th or 30th of December. Phones don't ring as much.
Well, this year it did. Yeah. This year was an exception to the rule, but yes.
We every year since 2019, so we're going on our 6th year this year. We go down there with the boys,
and the temperature's warm. So believe it or not,
75 to 80 degrees, and we bring our firewood. And at about 3 o'clock, we'll go out on the beach. We dig our hole, wind guard, get everything ready, and light the fire around 4:30. And stay out there till 8, 9 o'clock at night with the bonfire.
You can do bonfires on the beach. It's just. I absolutely love it.
I guess people listening can tell that we really like it. But it doesn't have to be the beach. It could be the lake. It could be the mountains. It could be anywhere.
Your happy spot is.
Find your happy spot. And if they say if you like what you do, and if you find something that's also going to benefit you and your family. In regards to our beach, I would be doing an injustice if I didn't at least say if y'all want to go check out our condo on North Padre. It's mybeachretreat.net. Go check it out. If the booking's available, go book. Stay there. Tell us what you think, But it's great. So anything else on short term for right now? And if you have questions on short term, go to the comments and let us know if you have any questions. We're an open book. We absolutely love sharing our experience, our knowledge on short-term rental purchases, from lending all the way to places to go eat. So just let us know. We've sold all along the Texas coast, and we can definitely help you with that.
Yeah, well, and wherever you were saying Canyon Lake. I mean, if you're a lake person, if you're a coastal person, Fredericksburg. I'm a part of Texas Hill Country. Bernie is a new hotspot. So there's lots of, if you want to do boutique shopping.
Wine country. We have a lot of people now that are wanting to buy short-term investments along, in the Hill Country of Texas.
And let's not forget good old New Braunfels. So you can buy one right here. Everybody, we have Schlitterbahn.
We just did.
Yes. And that's another podcast. Yes. Yeah. If we've actually made it, survived.
Yeah.
Yes.
So awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So, we started when we first started the first session. We said we were going to answer any questions, or we were going to pick through it if we have multiple questions. And we did have another question from session 2.
Logos.
And, logos.
Yep.
Yeah. So someone asked, and it was just a question. Basically, said what needs to go into a logo. What would we suggest putting into a logo? And really, what I tell a lot of people is your logo needs to tell a story in the shortest amount of time, right? So what it is that you do, your name. So for instance, we have a Land and Ranch logo, and our Land and Ranch logo has our name, so they know it's us. It says Land and Ranch, so Barth Group Land and Ranch.
Yeah.
It has a windmill, and it has a star, state of Texas. So it kind of tells a story. So you want to get your story across to someone in the quickest way possible, and not a lot of verbiage. Make it simple. Keep it simple as possible, but tell a story. So a good logo should tell a story.
And you've always made amazing logos. I love my sea turtle logo and Mel's Moments. Yeah, in my new home. So we'll talk about that next session. Is how I jumped into real estate, because at this point right now, when we bought this investment property for the first time, I was still teaching, and then now we're going to jump into how Jason created a team, and then I jumped into real estate, and then
working with your spouse.
Oh, the argument.
Stay tuned for session 4 is going to be pretty interesting.
Get out of my way.
Yeah, get the hell out of my way, woman. I think it was more of the other way, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, but I hope that answered your question. We got into, sorry about that. I hope that did answer your question. Tell a story with your logo the quickest way you know how, the simplest way you know how. And if you have more questions on that, reach out to us, PM us, whatever you need to do. And take this time to remind you, subscribe to our channel. We not only have all of our sessions on there that you can catch up on from past sessions, but we also have a lot of listings that haven't hit the market yet. You can get sneak peeks on that we get back. We have some tips. We have info, a little bit of everything. And if you have suggestions on what we can do, let us know.
Try to be a wealth of knowledge.
Try to, most of the time. We'll never tell you anything that ain't right, though.
All right. Well, we knocked that out.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day.